Hi everybody, and welcome to this edition of the Spartan Sports Report here on TV3. And Sam and I are happy to have a guest with us today that we haven't had very often. Sam, would you like to introduce our young lady?
Coach Joanne Borders, glad to have her. She is a 3-time state championship coach. I always like to talk about that. That's a lot. That's a lot of tradition here at Connersville.
In gymnastics,
yes, she is.
Carried the torch for quite a few years.
Yes, she has, and we're all proud of that, Joanne.
Well, I'm proud of all the kids that come out to work at that.
Yeah, well, takes a good leader, but you got to have a lot of good kids as well.
Yes, you do. You have to have children who are willing to put in the time and the work ethic to be good.
Mm-hmm. Joanne, we're toward the end of the season for you. So for your school activities, I know you go on year-round.
Yes, we go year-round. Actually, the kids look forward to summer because that's when they get to do the new and exciting skills. They want to move up and do more skills.
Oh, okay, great. So you have a lot of youngsters. You beget them on their career, right?
That's correct. And the thing about gymnastics is not only does it build strong bodies, but it also builds strong minds as well.
It looks really hard to do.
It is hard, and the Olympic gymnasts have raised the bar so high that everybody must work very hard to be very competitive.
Yes, I would think so. What's the toughest thing they have to do?
Probably one of the hardest events is the bars, because you have to be very strong. You have to be able to lift your body, control your body, hold handstands, do giants.
How do you teach that?
Well, we do a lot of strength training. And some of the parents said, well, I don't think they need all that extra exercise. But I said, actually, in reality, they do, because the kids that work hardest at being fit, they are the people who learn their skills sooner. So we'd like to say we have a good exercise program to make the kids stronger so they can get their skills easier.
There are not a whole lot of gymnastics classes in the state.
No, and it has come down quite a bit.
That's good.
We belong to the United States Gymnastics Federation, and there used to be about 90 clubs, but now there's only about probably about 65 clubs that are USA Gymnastics. Some of them went off grid and went to a national association because, guess what? It's like you were talking about earlier, it's dumbed down. They don't have requirements. In the USA Gymnastics program, they have skills, building skills. Like when you're in level 1, you learn these skills, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 10, and then 9 and 10s could compete for trying to make in the Olympic program. The level 9s and 10s could go to the nationals and try to be recognized as one of the Olympic contenders. But the national gymnastics, they just want to say, okay, this is the skills you want to do, you go ahead and do those skills. And then they give them
that's
high scores.
More for fun than actual what will get them somewhere?
Right, that is true. They're interested in the high score, not really the accomplishment of the skills.
The IHSA recognizes gymnastics as a winter sport.
Yes.
But your season doesn't begin until?
In November. We actually start like the second week in November.
That's for practicing.
For practicing, and then our first official meet could be in December, but we don't actually start until January.
That's what I thought. Early in the first of the new year is when the girls begin. What are some of the schools that you compete against?
Well, one of the strongest schools that we've competed against for several years has been Richmond, and this year we're worried that they're going to be able to field a team next year because Richmond did not allow them to practice in their gym this year. They did not. It was really sad. They could not find a place for them. For many years, they had been practicing at Richmond Gymnastics Training Center, and then they practiced at Indiana FitWorks, and Indiana FitWorks closed, and so then Richmond Gymnastics Training Center was bought out by a dance person, and so they do not have they would not allow Richmond Gymnastics High School to train there. So they had to go to Newcastle to train at Small Wonders. They had to get on a bus and drive to Newcastle, train there, and then go back home.
Do you have room for them in your facility?
Well, because Newcastle was closer than we are.
Not much.
Yeah, right. And so, so they did not. So, but anyhow, so hopefully they're trying to find a place. We'll see if they do. But meanwhile, they have let their program go downhill. The kids, the 4 kids that competed for them last year 3 of them were seniors and 1 was not.
How big of an area do you need for a practice area for gymnastics?
Well, it's the ceiling height. You got to be able to have the ceiling high enough to swing bars and long enough, probably about 98 feet for vaulting. And the floor exercise is 42 by 42. They were looking at a gym and someone said the floor would take up the whole floor gym. And I said, well, just set up a tumbling strip. But they weren't thinking outside the box, so.
You know, as much as I see Richmond as a rival, I want them to do well because I want us to have good competition. For us to be good, the teams we compete against have to be good.
And you said it right there. And people do not understand that. Some places want to compete against lesser schools, but it's competing against the best schools that make you be the best. That's true.
I've always said if you want to be the best, you got to play the best.
You got to play the best. You're absolutely right. And so we always would, you know, and we had our years where we beat Richmond, and they had their years they beat us. But
it makes for a great rival.
Makes for a great rival.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Well, Newcastle has been kicked out of their gym too. Let me tell you, Newcastle, no kidding. Newcastle, I mean, they're a good team too. But the year before, they wanted to expand the weight room. So they took the girls' gymnastics room and made it non-existent and made the weight room bigger. So they had to go train at Small Wonders too in Newcastle. So how sad is that?
So where do they have their
meets?
Their meets, yeah.
Newcastle was having their gymnastics meets at Small Wonders, and one morning they had to cancel it because the furnace wasn't working at Small Wonders, so they had to cancel. It was 43 degrees in there. So how sad is that?
It's amazing. So you have your own facility that you use year-round, but you use the gym at the high school for meets?
Yes, that's correct.
So you are afforded a space that's adequate.
Right.
And ceiling's plenty tall out there.
Yes. Yeah. You're right.
That's really unfortunate that's come to pass.
It is happening, and people want to say equal rights and stuff like that. Well, they're not doing the right thing for the girls' gymnastics program. That's very sad. Very sad.
It is.
And I told Tina, the coach, I said, let me call your school board members and I'll talk to them about how important it is to get these girls who are leading their class in academics and they want to have an opportunity to practice in their favorite sport, and you won't let them. And she said, please don't do that. They'll drop our program.
I don't know what the answer is, but there surely is one out there. And
I don't know.
Parents to get involved.
Parents need to get involved. But Jay County, one time they were doing that, and they were going to kick them out and stop their program. And the coach called me and told me about it, and she said, what can you do, Joanne? I said, get a number of all the parents that are in 7th grade and 8th grade that you know those kids do gymnastics, send her to the school board. And when they go to the school board, tell them why it's important. We want to find ways to keep kids off of drugs, out of alcohol, out of the bad problems. We need to keep them busy doing the right things. And these aren't just the normal kids. These are the kids who are the hard workers. They're your academic kids. You know, they might be top 10 in their class.
Sure.
So we want a good place for them to practice.
What's the youngest age for a youngster to start?
Oh my gosh. We have some 18-month-olds. we have what's called Toddler Open Gym, and I'm telling you what, they have so much fun. They come in, and the moms will say they couldn't wait till it was Tuesday so they could come and practice. And they come running in, and they like to jump on the trampoline. And they're so smart. I have one that's she's just getting ready to turn around 3, and we were playing an activity where we jumped up on a box and then climbed down. They climbed up on the box. And her brother could do it really well, but she wasn't tall enough to do it. And she looked, I had a little trainer, a mount trainer, and she goes over and gets this little bitty mount trainer and pulls it over to the box so that she can run up that little ramp to get up there. And then talk about being happy and proud of herself. She was so proud. So anyhow, so it just shows you how smart they are and how she figured out a way to get up the box. Her brother could get up there, she wouldn't get up there too.
How do these youngsters advance?
Well, really, everybody that works for me at the gym, we're always leading them to the next level. I mean, okay, so when they get one thing, like the kids that are working on handstands, then we teach them how to do handstand half pirouettes. But the main thing is USAG gives us good guidelines and gives us these skills that we need to be successful, and that's what we work on to get better with that.
How long do these classes last?
Oh, the classes? We go year-round with our classes.
I know you do.
And these levels that I was talking about, right now, we went to Florida last summer to learn new routines that are good for 8 years. So,
If you had if someone watching us had a child or a grandchild that wanted to get involved, how many times a week would they come?
most of the kids start off coming one time a week, and then if they really like it, then they start wanting to come 2 times a week. But for the young kids, I don't recommend coming more than twice a week because it'll burn them out.
Sure.
I remember this story one time. I had a 3-year-old who was really good. She came once a week, and her dad said, "She loves this. Could we come twice?" I said, "Sure, we could do that." So she started coming 2 times a week, and she got better and better and better. Then the dad said, "Well, could we come 3 times a week?" And I said, "I really don't recommend that. She'll be tired of that." He said, "But you don't understand. She is on the Pee Wee basketball league down at where the boys club was, and she's the only person who can get the ball up to the goal." And he said, "I attribute you to the gymnastics because that is how she can get that ball. The rest of them can't even hardly throw it up, but not her. She can go right up." And I said, "I said 3 times a week's a lot."
That was going to be my next question was that how does gymnastics help them, and do you encourage them? You're a PE teacher. You encourage them to play other sports.
Oh, I do. Some of my best athletes, they do golf. And then when gymnastics is over, they go to track. And those are my gymnasts out there that are doing the best. They're great at the hurdles. They're great at the high jump. Brooke Sutoff, that is, set a new record for pole vaulting. Is now the she was a former gymnast, and she's got the school record now for pole vaulting.
And then a lot of them do cheerleading as well, right?
Yes, they do.
Which goes hand in hand.
Right. And one of the girls that was on my team, she tried out for Ball State cheerleading, and she is an alternate, and so she's hoping that she'll be able to get into the official team.
And you get Division I collegiate level with cheerleading. That you really have to have some skills.
Yes, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Do boys come to your school?
Yes, we have some boys that come in, and I tell you what, boys are so much fun. Boys are, there's this one little guy. His name's Kyson, and his sister is a cheerleader, so she came in to start working on tumbling. Ella came in to tumble, and so here comes Kyson, and he wants to come in and tumble too. And so his mom signed him up for gymnastics, and he gets on that trampoline, and he can just jump so high, and he has no fear. He's over there trying to do front tucks, and everybody's giving him hints, and he's learned how to do a front tuck. But they're fun. They have fun.
Is there an opportunity for? We don't have boys gymnastics in high school, but once they get to a certain age, is there an opportunity for them to go on and?
Well, boys can do USA gymnastics. They have competitive levels.
Okay.
And
I guess what I was saying, IHSA doesn't.
They do not. They used to.
That right now.
They used to, but they don't. They don't have it anymore. And so.
But there are opportunities.
Right,
for
and
those
really,
that have,
some of my better gymnasts that were boys that were in the program went on to be divers for the CHS.
that makes sense too.
Yeah, and cheerleaders.
Do they make good basketball players?
Makes them stronger when they're younger,
Okay.
stronger, faster, quicker. Gymnastics actually does that. Well, I taught Fayette County School Corporation elementary PE for 29 years, and let me tell you, the best athletes, you develop them, and you start when they're little, kindergarten, and just build and build and build. Same with gymnastics. You build to become stronger.
Get better each year as they go along.
Yes.
You talked about the Fayette County schools. Well, your involvement is in what way?
My involvement in Fayette County School Corporation, right now I'm just the high school gymnastics coach.
Okay. I understand you do some elementary and
I teach elementary PE at St. Gabriel's,
Okay.
kindergarten through 6th grade.
And what about your youngsters that come out of there? What
do they do? They do really well. I would like to say
both physical?
They do good in wrestling because they're strong, and they do good in basketball because I teach them right and left layups, and and it's good when you teach them those skills when they're young. Then when they go out to the yard to play, they can practice those skills. But if you don't teach them those skills to begin with, if you just give them a ball to shoot, nobody's teaching them how to shoot the right way. But if you give them the fundamentals, they will grow and get better. And that's what elementary phys ed is supposed to be about.
And I see your kids there at St. Gabe's every year with presidential physical fitness pictures in the paper of those kids. It seems like they excel in those activities.
They do, and at the beginning of the year, I give the parents a paper that says what they need, and those kids will work on that. And the hardest thing is to get the pull-ups and the mile.
Pull-ups, when I was in the Army, that was the hardest thing as well, was pull-ups.
Yes, if you were in the Army, you knew you had to do pull-ups.
Yeah, that's right.
These youngsters do well in academics?
Yes, they do.
So you're a supporter of them being a gymnast, and that will help them in their school studies.
Yes.
That's good.
It is. It's very important. And I just think, I'm not sure why, but I think it's time management. When kids are in gymnastics, especially the kids that are on my competitive team, they know if they're going to go to gymnastics, they have to go home and get all the work done, and so they're good at time management. And it's really crazy, and you've probably seen this in the past. The kids that are involved in gymnastics, everybody wants them because they're the people who are the leaders.
Okay.
They are the people who get the job done. I see that over and over again.
I think that in that sport that they really have to concentrate, and that maybe carries over to their academics as well.
I agree with you there. Yes. Yes. That's true.
You have a program coming up that we could talk about?
We're going to have, this is the nice thing about CHS athletics is the coaches are allowed to have a summer program. So we're having a gymnastics program, and it's going to be in June, and we'll do it for 3 days. It's called the Summer Gymnastics Camp. And kids from kindergarten through 6th grade, the kids that are going to be in kindergarten next year, and the kids that were even 6th grade this year can go participate. Last year we had a great turnout. We're our biggest turnout, and they had so much fun. So it's fun, educational, strengthening, good all the way around. A lot of fun.
So for that camp, do you have your high school students help with that?
Some of my high school kids help,
kids
and some
that
of
they
my
can look up to, the younger ones.
Yes, and they do a good job helping. And then I also have some of my staff that help too.
Talk about your staff a little bit. You probably had some people's been with you for a while.
Well, Kim Duncan has probably been with me the longest. She is. She's amazing. She's just a great choreographer, and she helps make up the kids' floor routines when they go to the optional level. And you know, she's married to Brent.
Right.
And she went with us to Florida to learn the routines. And she just, the kids said to me, why does she make us do all these hard drills? And I said, Kim Duncan is like the best clinician ever. When we pay big bucks to go see the clinicians that's going to make us better, Kim could be right up there with them because she does such a good job with that, teaching you those good skills. Then also one of my former best gymnasts ever, Kristen Allen, she coaches and for me too. And I tell you, the best thing about Kristen is she understands what it takes to be good. And she helps lead those kids to get there. And she's very firm with them, and yet leads them in the right way. And one of the things that we do that Kristen's really good about is jumping rope on the beam, because that, well, they get on the beam and they jump, but the beam's bouncy, so it's easier on them. But the biggest thing is that it strengthens their foot when they push through the jump, it strengthens their feet, and then they get stronger, and their ankles are stronger, and then they have less injuries.
Sure.
The kids that jump rope on the beam have less injuries. You see people get it confused. If you want strong ankles, you make them stronger. If you do less, then they get weaker. But anyhow, so Kristen pushes the jump rope, which really makes them a lot stronger. And but she knows what has, and her daughter JC is our gymnast and went to the state meet this year.
We had her here on our show.
Yes, and so that was really good. And then we're very fortunate that Carla Daniels is teaching with us this year. She has taught dance in her background, so she helps with our floor exercise with the kids learning their new routines on the floor.
Great.
So that's good, and that rounds out. And then I have Allie Bowers, who she works part-time for us, and she was always great on bars when she was on the team, and she helps with kids, and she has great technique on bars for the kids.
Talk about the beam. That one always fascinates me. That to wall. How wide is that? 4 inches.
4 inches.
Yeah. That takes tremendous balance.
It does. It does. And it's but you know, the nice thing about the balance beam on the high school level, I can have kids who never did gymnastics in their life, and if they're a good listener and they're a hard worker, they can actually earn a place on the lineup for the beam. And we had a foreign exchange student this year, Christina, and she's from the Ukraine, and she comes out, and I said, well, have you had any experience? And she said, no, but I've always loved gymnastics. And I said, well, then, you know, come and we'll teach you some skills and stuff. And because she was a hard worker, she got to compete in not only beam, but bars also. And so it was good, and because she was a hard worker, she learned lots of skills so that she can compete with us.
And that's the way with life. If you're a hard worker, chances are you're going to do well in something.
That's right. That's right. Work ethic.
You're very careful with these youngsters as far as injuries are concerned, aren't you?
I am. I tell you, people don't realize that sometimes an injury can affect them for the rest of their life.
Sure.
So you need to take care of them.
So you have mats under them all the time?
We do. We have mats under them, and we go some places where the mats are horrible, and they're. It makes me sad. Their team members, the school has bought them all kinds of fancy outfits and stuff like that, but the mats they've had for 20 years, and they're wore out. And the kid said, what are we going to land on? I said,
Sure.
I said,
On
we
your
need to
feet.
bring our own mats. And we did. We would take our own mats. Well, Columbus East one time, when their mats bottomed out and they were flat as a pancake, we took a mat. And so Nancy Kirschman said, why did you bring a mat, Joanne? I said, because your mats are horrible. My kids don't like to land on your mats. I said, we need a good mat to land.
Sure.
So,
Did they correct
anyhow,
it?
so they went, guess what? Next year they bought a mat. They bought a mat.
What are some of the times and things in the various events, like pole vaulting, did you say?
That's for
in
track
and field.
Well, but the bars where the kids swing up and do giants and stuff like that, it gives those kids the strength to be able to lift their body up and over the bar.
Is it time events involved in gymnastics, or?
Timing? Mm-hmm. Well, it's not like track.
Okay.
But there is time involved because, like, for instance, on the floor exercise, they have to do a floor routine that is in between a minute and a half.
Okay.
So, and it kind of, some people like to stuff everything in there and do a whole bunch and last all the way to a minute 30. But recently I've went to the point where we want to do a shorter routine so we can get what we need and then get off of the mat and with less deductions.
You're very optimistic about what you do, aren't you?
I do. It's the greatest sport of all.
And you've been at it for how many years?
Oh my gosh, I've been at this for a long time. I've coached the high school team for 43 years. That was my 43rd year, and we've had the Collegeville Gymnastics Center for 41 years, 42 years, 81. So we started in 81. Wow.
Yeah, time
Crazy.
flies, huh?
I know. I cannot believe it. We're going through all these records that I have, and I thought, oh my gosh, that's crazy, isn't it?
Well, that's great that you enjoy what you're doing, and I suppose retirement is the worst thing you can ever think about.
Well, as long as I'm able, I'm going to do it.
Well, I think three of us are sitting here feeling that same way with what we do.
Yeah. Well, good. That's good.
I know a bunch of great athletes have gone before you, and you're very proud of them.
Yes. Well, we've had some outstanding athletes. We've been very blessed.
I know we have. Connersville has been very fortunate to have you involved in gymnastics. Not every school has that kind of luck.
Kind of commitment. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. It's a commitment. Yeah, I hate to say that, but you have to train the people before they get to high school so that people will be ready.
It's important that
Yes.
the youngsters start early in it.
Yes, it is.
Right.
But the good thing is it prepares them for other things too.
And our community is proud of our student athletes. I think that shows wherever
Yes.
we go.
Yes, yes. Mm-hmm. We are very fortunate. Connersville, the people in Connersville are very supportive of our program. I mean, look at the Spartan Bowl when we have basketball games.
Sure.
People come out to support those kids, and that's amazing, amazing. You don't see that in other schools.
No.
You do not. We go to we went to Columbus East for a gymnastics meet, and they had probably 24 chairs set up. And the kids said, "Where's everybody going to sit?"
Wow.
And you know what? The Connersville parents came in, and they about filled the place
Filled the
up.
place, that's
yes,
good.
and they were driving from Connersville to Columbus, but their own parents, they didn't have very many people come. And that's sad.
It is sad.
That is sad.
Let's take a minute here to look at the sports this week at CHS. On Monday, the softball team is playing at Lawrenceburg. The tennis is home with Union County. On Tuesday, track and field sectional at Spartan Field starting at 5:30 in the afternoon. On Wednesday, a tennis sectional gets underway, and softball is home with Rushville. On Thursday, softball at Greensburg, golf at Rising Sun. On Friday, baseball at Pendleton. On Saturday, JV softball will be at Lawrence North, and JV baseball will be home with Milan. Spartan Golf Invite will be underway, and that'll be in Connersville. So we're fortunate to have that, and a busy week in sports, but it's winding down for the season, isn't it, Joanne?
It is. It is.
Yeah, you've got just a few days left at school, right?
Actually, the St. Gabriel's is on the fast track this week. They are.
That's what
I think that they're anxious to get working on that construction, to get everything going on that.
Connersville is very fortunate to have you doing what you do. Your dedication to the kids is just great, and I know they appreciate it, and you're very proud of all the people that go through your program.
Well, thank you very much, and I have been very fortunate to have very supportive parents and hardworking kids.
You
It
hear
all goes together.
strange things sometimes about parents, but they're okay, right? I mean,
Most of the parents love their children
Sure.
and want the best for them.
right, absolutely, and they want to encourage you and
Yes.
and have a good product when it comes through, and it's
That's
been
right.
great. Joanne Borders has joined us, gymnastics coach at CHS, number year 43, and she's probably going to take another 43 at least, right?
Right. That would be unusual.
Well, you never know. I mean, we
Very good.
hope.
That's right. There you go.
Thanks, Joanne, for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Sam, you could join us here.
always glad to have her, and
Yeah.
goes by fast.
And thanks, everybody, for watching this edition of the Spartan Sports Report here on TV3. Good evening.